Hey guys, this is Poet Spice, and so I am going to sit here and I'm going to do a little bit of coloring for you. And I'm going to use my Ohuhu markers and whatever else I pull off my desk. And since we've got Carloween going on and Jojo, Johanna, and I are doing a buddy color, I decided that I was just going to go ahead and do this coloring. So this is the image that we are going to do. And yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and color, and then I will probably do a voiceover for you. Hey guys, so here we are. I originally was going to do this in real time because I had told Renee that I would do a marker video and just do it regular time. However, I did not realize when I pushed record that my phone was recording in slow motion, which meant that I had colored about 15 minutes and my phone went boop, boop, boop and stopped and said, "You're out of storage space." And I was like, there is no way I'm out of storage space in 15 minutes. So I looked at it, and because it was in slow motion, it was like an hour and a half of coloring. And I was like, oh gosh. So I had to speed it up in order to be able to actually, do this recording. So I will still get in a regular time marker coloring for you guys, but I guess it just won't be this one. So I'm using my Ohuhu markers. Like, it's like best laid plans, right? Best laid plans. So I'm using my Ohuhu markers, and it's the pastel set. So I absolutely love Ohuhu markers. And I've said this in multiple videos, and you'll probably hear it almost every time I talk about coloring, is that before I came into the coloring community, I've been in the craft community for like, years. My other channel has like almost 10,000 subscribers. So I've been coloring for a long time, and the products and stuff that I have for coloring, I absolutely love. So Ohuhu is I love them because I refuse to spend that much money on Copic markers when I am not a professional. I'm not spending $400 or $500 on a set of markers. That's ridiculous. Now, to each his or her own. What you spend your money on is what you spend it on, which is what I'm going to talk about a little bit later here too. But I absolutely love Ohuhus. Spectrum Noir is my first choice, and then Ohuhu is my second. So, oh my gosh, I love them. Anyway, so what I've done here is a usual 3-color combo. I've started with the light, then I went to a medium, and then I went to a darker color. And that gives you your tonal values and so forth. But I did want to say that you do not have to stick with just 3 colors. And once I do this other flower, because I wanted it to be darker since it was in the back, but I didn't really want to change the color. So I didn't want to go from this like peachy orange to red or pink or something. I wanted to stay in the same color zone, which means I had to add different colors to it, which sounds kind of weird, but that's just how it works. So I started with the medium color, and then I'm going to another color to do this. Okay. And then I will add the third color, which will be even darker. And so I'm only putting it where it's actually going to be darker. So underneath the leaf or underneath the petals, and I'm trying to show you the colors, but that was before this thing had to be sped up. So underneath the petals that are next to it, down into the center, on the edges that are closer to the bottom, would have a darker line. So that's what I'm going here. And you can see that it has this darker look to it. And then it's still not as dark as I wanted it to be. So this is where I start pulling out a Aspire marker. So I pulled out an orange to add even more of a shadow. So even though I started out with a 3-color combo, I did a 4, and now there's a 5th one. And there might even be 6, I can't remember. And so now both of the flowers are in that same color scheme, but I could get a darker value simply by adding two other colors to the same color palette. Now I'm going to do her jewelry, and I'm going to use the same colors to get the base down. And then they look like little marbles or little candies. So I used darker colors on the swirly bits. And then I'll use another one to kind of outline where the shadows would be, which is going to be between the beads, closer to the bottom, and round towards the back where her neck is. I wanted to do the same thing with her lips. And I wanted to get all these accessories done. So this is just another way of, I guess, explaining how I do some coloring and figuring out what I'm going to do. So I wanted to have all of the quote unquote accessories done first. So I wanted the flowers and her lipstick and her jewelry. And then she's got these two rings down at the bottom that could either be hair, and then I ended up choosing to make them like clothing or something at the top bottom. I'm also doing her makeup. And I did all of these things first because I wanted to make sure that I had the color scheme going on that I wanted before I did her skin. And I know lots of times some people will do the skin and then do the other things. But I wanted to see, because since she was going to be a brown girl, lots of the browns have an orange undertone. So since I'm already using oranges with peach and a little bit of red, I wanted to get those down first, because then I could see which browns that I needed to use, so that it wouldn't just look like all orange, if that makes sense to people. Because like I said, a lot of brown has various undertones depending on what kind of brown you're using. But a lot of brown, particularly when you get to the colors where you're going to use it for darker skin, they have either sometimes like yellow or green underneath it, but a lot of the markers in the Ohuhu set, they have more of red and orange underneath. So I needed to get these colors down first so I could pick and make sure that she wouldn't just look like I'm an orange monster versus somebody who actually had orange accessories and makeup. Now you can see once again, I'm going back to full with that flower because I wanted it darker still. And so I'm adding some more. Okay. And then I'm using the other colors to kind of blend that line out. Now there is a style where you can also do like block color. So instead of blending the colors out, you can also just like use those hard lines when the marker dries. I haven't done that yet, but I'm very interested in trying it. I think it'd be interesting to do, but you have to have the right picture to do it though. All right, now I'm starting on these leaves, these little branches. I went back to Ohuhu markers and I'm using 3 colors, a light, a medium, and a dark. And then I will also go back and pull out an Inspire or some Ohuhus from a different set. Because I have skin tone Ohuhus, I have the pastel Ohuhus, I have, what is it? I think it's an 88 set of Ohuhus. And I have the 216. It's either 210 or 216 set. because I told you I absolutely love them. I was like, these markers are fabulous. And they're still reasonably priced. Because I know I've said it before, but I'm not paying crazy money for art supplies. Okay, so since I brought that up again, now I'm going to talk about that a little bit. I know there has been this big brouhaha in the coloring community, and my thoughts have been the same thoughts I've had because I've been in other communities on YouTube, and the crafting community in particular, because I've been there the longest. And besides being on social media and everything else, the one thing I have to say about all of this, regardless of who is on what side or this side, or who supports who doesn't support who, whatever, is that we are all supposed to be grown on here. Grown people. And nobody is forcing anybody to watch anything. Nobody's sitting there tying your hands to the chair, taping your eyes open to watch anything. And additionally, what one person does or does not do is really up to that person. So, what one person chooses to spend their time and money doing, another person does not have to do that same thing. So, I'll use me for example. Like I said previously in this video, I am not spending $300, $400, $500, $600, $700, $800, because by the time you buy every Copic marker there is out there, you are spending thousands of dollars on these markers. Okay, even on a sale, they're not cheap. Okay, so I am not going to spend that much money on markers that, to me, and I have a few of them that I've picked up here and there on sale just to try them. So I literally have like 4 Copic markers. I am not kidding, 4. So I'm not going to spend a bunch of money like that on markers when I can get Spectrum Noirs way cheaper. And then I found Ohuhus, and I can get those cheaper than my Spectrum Noirs. So that's just me. So just because other people have Copic markers, and I see Copic marker hauls, and I see tons of people talk about Copic markers, does not mean that I'm going to change my own grown person mind to buy Copic markers just because everybody, quote unquote, in quotes, has them. Okay. And the same thing with anything else that's on YouTube or on a craft channel, because believe me, ooh, child, when I say I have craft supplies, I have craft supplies. So I don't know how many people on coloring would be interested in seeing like all the craft dies that I have, because I have a lot of craft dies. And if you don't know what a die is, it's a piece of metal that's like shaped, and it will cut out that shape from paper and all that kind of stuff so that you have, it's beautiful. If you don't know what it is, just look it up on YouTube or go to my craft channel and you can see it. But we all have things that we are willing to and not willing to spend our money and time on. And what I spend my money and time on is my business. So even if I put it on YouTube, it's still my business. And what somebody else puts their money and time into is their business. And like I said at the beginning of this, we are all grown, or we are supposed to be grown. So that means we should have the common sense to monitor ourselves, Now, I'm not saying we're going to be perfect about it, but we should all have the common sense to monitor ourselves. So if we see that something is triggering us and all that mess, then we should take the responsibility to fix it, stop it, change it, whatever, on our end. So, like I will say for myself, there are times when I have to say to myself, I have to stop watching haul videos. I have to stop watching craft channel on TV. I have to like turn off Amazon. I have to do all this. Not because of somebody else is quote unquote forcing me to purchase, buy, or pressure, but because I see that, ooh, man, okay, now I'm looking at buying stuff simply to buy it because it looks pretty right now. So I have to realize that myself. Does that make sense? So I have to be grown enough to be like, ooh, I need to step back from this. I can't turn around and say, oh, HSN should not have craft days. I can't say that, oh, this company should stop selling their products. Oh, da da da. Now, I mean, I could say it in a joking manner, but they're not going to do that because their job is to sell that product. If I'm on YouTube and I want to be like, ooh, I can't, ooh, I need to stop, then that's on me. That's not on the content creators. That's not on other people. That's on me to say, ooh, I need to check myself. Does that make sense? And so as a grown person, that's what you do. You check yourself, you monitor yourself. So I say to myself, like, that is wonderful, but we're going to have to make a choice. It's either this or that, or neither. Or you put it on hold or whatever. So I just think that we all need to, everybody, because it's not just an individual thing. We all need to look at ourselves and be like, hey, this is what I can handle. This is what I can't handle. So if you can't handle something, then you monitor yourself and say, ooh, yes. So for example, I'll use myself again. There are times when I'm like, I will have to turn a TV show. Because it's like, ooh, yeah, I've been watching too many of these horror movies or these murder movies or this whatever I've been watching. So it could be, because I tend to binge watch stuff on, I mean, I don't say we all, but lots of people tend to binge watch stuff. So I tend to binge watch like seasons and seasons and episodes. And I'll be like, ooh, Lord have mercy. I done spent the whole weekend watching 8 seasons of this show. Okay, well, that is not a good thing. You got other things to do. I need to clean the house. I need to get work done. I need to do this. I need to get up from the chair. I need to get out of the bed, whatever it is. But that's me. I have to monitor myself and say, "Woo, girl, get yourself together. Woo, girl, get yourself together. Turn off Netflix and go do something. Do something besides sit there and binge watch Netflix." Now, granted, at the same time, myself personally, I love redundancies. I really don't. Oh, here you can see I'm using an Artix marker. I told you I have alcohol markers at the Wahoo. The Wahoo Yazoo Baba. But anyway, so my long soapbox speech basically is the fact that we are grown people. I don't care what community you're in. I don't care what community you're not in. I don't care what drama's going on. I don't care anything about that. The point is, we are supposed to be grown people. And so we should be acting like that. That's how we should be acting. We should act like grown people. And we should make sure that we are all monitoring ourselves. Okay, monitoring ourselves. And when I say monitoring ourselves, I mean the individual. Like, I look after me. I have to say, nope, turn off Netflix, get your butt up, and go do something in the house that you need to get done. Or, nope, your bank account is straining today. You are not buying 16 items on a craft channel today. Now, don't get me wrong. I use almost all of my stuff. And then when I'm not going to use it, I either give it away or I sell it off at a discount, or, some stuff I've taken to my job and I've had my students use it in projects and stuff like that, or teach them how to use and make cards and stuff. So it's all about, I have to monitor myself. I have to take care of my own mental health, my own physical health, my own financial health, my own spiritual health. That's on me. That's not on anybody else. So if I'm triggered about anything, then I need to take care of that myself. So yeah. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox now. I'm gonna get off my soapbox. And just like I said, we grown people. That's what we need to be. Grown people. We are grown, so we need to. It's all about what we do for ourselves, not in a selfish manner, but as far as monitoring and take care of what we need to take care of. And there you go. All right, so now I've started with her hair, which is purple. So I'm using like these purpley plum colors and so forth, and whatever. And sometimes I just go ahead, like where there's strands, I go ahead and do individual strands. And this time I didn't want to do that. I actually wanted to go with like maybe 2 steps lighter, but that did not happen. So we just are going to go ahead and cover this whole base with one color. And see here, I'm using a different, it's still a Ohuhu markers, but it is one of their different size barrels. Ooh, y'all. And so now you can see what I was talking about of like measuring what I needed to use for her skin. So now that the makeup was done, I could go ahead and look at the skin and see like, oh yeah, I need to shift it this way. Because had I used a darker brown than what I was going to use, it would blend in with the orange, because the darker one I was going to use has a lot of orange and red in it. So by changing it, now it stands out more. And then I just can't help it. Most of the time, I try to use other colors, but most of the time there's going to be some kind of purple or blue on my pictures, or both, because it is what it is. And I don't want to get in a rut, you know what I mean? I don't want to get in the rut of using the same colors. Like, that's all I ever use. I don't want to be like that, but I just like the aesthetic of blues and purples. So I know some people see blue or whatever and they're like, ugh, it makes me so sad. And I'm just like, ugh, I see blue, it makes me so happy. It makes me so happy. Then I see purples and I'm like, it makes me so happy. So happy. And I am so not a pink girl. Like Barbie pink. I'm not a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. No, I'm not. I'm like, I don't know. What is the non-Barbie equivalent? I have no idea. Is it goth Barbie or something? I don't know. I just do not know. But yeah, oh, that's what I was saying. I'm like, I am not a pink girl at all. So now I can handle it with certain colors. So I do think that brown and pink together, I think that is a pretty combination. Not that I would choose that first, but if I'm going to have pink and brown together would be pretty. So I am way more into like the fuchsias, if it's got to be pink, it's got to be sassy pink, not like baby pink and all that kind of stuff. I am not that kind of girl. I'm just not a pink girl. I've never been that girly as far as that goes. Okay, so now I'm going back here with another layer. So I did the same thing. I used my 3 different colors, and then I also pulled in some grays. So you'll see that later where I used some grays. And then also, here's a little tip, and it's going to come up later in the video. But do not be afraid to use black. And if you don't want to use black, use like, so I've got, what are these? Depending on whether you want to go warm or cold, but use those warm and or cool dark grays. I guess they would be like 90% or something like that if it were a pencil. I don't know. All I know is I pick it up, swatch it, and then that's the color I want. There you go. But yeah, don't be afraid to actually use those dark grays if you don't want to go black or use black, because that actually adds more contrast to the color. And as far as markers go, the gray is acting like grayscale. So you could do this 2 different ways. So in this picture later on, you will see, and I think I did it in another color along earlier, you will see that I've put down all this color. So I put down my 3 different layers of purple, and I might have done a 4th one, and put the shading in the highlights or whatever where I was going to put them. And then I went back and used gray. So you can put your color down first and then put the gray over top where you want it really dark. And then you can go back over it with one of the colors that you used. Probably maybe the medium one, and it doesn't really matter. It's just you go with whatever one you like. But that acts like grayscale. Then you can do it the other way around. So if you wanted to take this image and put in the darks first, right? So say you want to put in your dark colors first, or the dark areas first. What you can do is, instead of using your dark color, so like the dark purple that I'm going to put in last, use your gray. So you can put the gray in first, and then because alcohol markers are transparent, when you go over it, it acts like grayscale, which is fabulous. Because I do find I didn't do too many grayscales. I think I did like 1 or 2, and it's definitely different. But if you have line art and you put in your own grayscale, either before or after the color, it's a little easier that way too. What is so funny? While I was doing this, coloring this the other night, I was just like, my brain would not do anything that required deep thought or overly physical movement or anything. I was just like, ugh. So I colored this up, did this video, and then right after this, I think I ate some cereal or something, and then I turned around and colored another one because I was just like, I can't do anything. I just need to sit here. Because it was been one of those weeks. And I had a migraine, like 3 or 4 days out of this week. And same was last week. And it's just ridiculous. Okay. I have no idea what else to talk about. I don't know. What do you want to talk about? All How are you doing? Is everybody being safe out there? I don't even, like, what does safe even mean nowadays? I don't even know. I don't even know. But is anybody preparing for Christmas already? I'm trying to get my Christmas list together. And I do December daily, but I start my December daily in November. And I either start it at the beginning of the month or I start it at Thanksgiving break. It just depends on how I'm feeling that year. So, yeah. Trying to decide. Does anybody in color tube do like December daily? If you don't know what that is, it's like, I forget her name. Oh my gosh. Because I don't actually do her stuff. Oh my goodness. Anyway, the whole point is to record what you do, like your life or whatever, every day in December. And it was developed by the lady who does Project Life, I believe. Now, don't give me the line, but I think that's who designed it. Like the actual December daily kind of packet and everything. So I don't actually do it like that. I make my own book. And I actually have videos on this channel of my December dailies. But I make my own book, use my own stuff, cut it up. Now, last year I did use her actual binder and some of the pieces. But I added a whole bunch of my other stuff in Anna Griffin and mixed it up. So anyway, does anybody else do that on here? Because that would be interesting. Jojo, are you watching? Do you do a December daily or journaling for December? What else? What is there to talk about, y'all? I don't know. I guess that's probably why I haven't been putting very many, well, there's a couple reasons because I haven't had time to do the editing. But I guess that's why. I don't know. I guess if this were live, then we'd have something to talk about. Then I could be like, oh yeah, I can talk about that. Oh yeah, I can talk about that. Da, da, da. I don't know. I just don't know. You guys out there then, shut up then. Quit running your mouth. Oh my goodness. It is what it is. Is what it is. Okay, so since we were talking about Christmas, or if you celebrate Hanukkah, or is Rosh Hashanah in December? I can't remember. Kwanzaa. Anything that you celebrate in December, I guess. Are you ready for it? What's on your December, Christmas, holiday, gift giving, winter season list? Yep, so I don't know. I'm just adding some last minute details to this thing for you. Adding in some grays. Doing the eyes. So anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and let this play out. If you have any questions, you can leave some comments. Make sure they're nice or appropriate comments, because I have no problem deleting somebody in a heartbeat. How about that? All right, because I'm not going to put up with that mess. Anyway, so thanks for watching, and I'm just going to let this play out.